Well, good evening. My name is Tom. I come to you from the great state of Maine. I say good evening because we're in the dog days of summer. Oh my goodness, these hot days are gonna kill this old boy. Between the hours of 11 and 3, I don't like those temperatures anymore. So it's evening time. Snagged me a cup of coffee. I'm down here at the shop. And just kind of wanted to, I had a great visit from one of the subscribers this week. It's been a busy week since then, so hello Scott. Scott is from Maine. It's just weird we meet each other through this channel in the state. So I have quite a few Maine subscribers, and Scott is one of them. So good evening, Scott. I kind of wanted to reminisce about the visit that I had with Scott. What day did we meet? We've been trying to meet up for, boy, I think since last January. And schedules just didn't line up and all of that, and you know, make plans and then something would fall through, which is easy enough to do with everything that everybody's got going on, as well as, you know, hospital stuff. So, you know, between my wife's cancer stuff, I don't know, I don't want to go into too many details, but keep his family in mind too. They are going through some medical things, both him and his wife. So keep that in mind. I don't know how much I could say here about that. I just want to say, keep them in your minds and prayers over the next few months. I know Scott has to have surgery, stuff like that. So good luck with that, Scott. I don't, but you didn't tell me if I could say anything or not. So I'll just leave it at that. But anyways, we had a nice visit. He brought me up. He had closed down his camp up in Jackman, and he brought me some stuff that he thought that I could use. I really can't use it, Scott. The chains that you brought are already on the back of this tractor, so those chains are already getting put to use. They're bright orange chains where somebody had painted them. And now that them look so nice, Scott, I think I'll paint my chains. Or at least throw some paint on them, bright yellow, bright orange, something. Because, my goodness, if that orange chain is on the ground, you're going to be able to find it. And my chains are all rusty, so when they're on the ground, they look just like dead leaves. So that bright orange chain will be easy to find. But I'll tell you how we met, not how we met, but how, what we did. We just grabbed a couple of lawn chairs, and I told Scott, I said, he wanted to go out to eat, just spend some time, a couple hours. And I told him, I said, I'm a lot more comfortable with a couple of lawn chairs and a tailgate lunch, and that's exactly what we did. I put together the sandwich. I had to throw some stuff in a cooler, just like I would do if I was bird hunting, or if I was on a deer hunt with somebody, or just for a ride up country. I don't go anywhere without putting some kind of a tailgate lunch together, and usually it's sandwiches. This turned out to be ham sandwiches. Nothing fancy. Had some mustard, had some mayonnaise with us, some ham and some lettuce, and some good rolls for a sandwich. And a couple of waters threw into the cooler. So it made for good tailgate lunch. And we sat in the shade at the shooting range. I met him at the shooting range, and we sat in the shade just for a good, comfortable tailgate lunch. Simple. And if you haven't done that with some of your friends, or you haven't met with someone and just done that, give it a try, because there's nothing more relaxing than just plain dropping a tailgate and having a sandwich and visiting. You don't have to worry about your conversation. like you would if you're in a restaurant, if you want to talk about something that's personal or you want to talk about anything. It's just it's a great way to just relax and get to know someone. So, Scott, that was a very good visit. And I did get your email. I haven't answered it yet, but I will watch that link. He gave me a link to something that I really need to watch. I'm going to watch it tomorrow. I have been right out straight since we met on Tuesday. Basically right down here in the backyard, getting ready for more projects. I think you said it best. I think your wife told you that you create the projects that keep you busy. Well, you know, that's exactly what's going on here. I just as I see the light at the end of the tunnel, I find a new way to find a new project. So, anyways, tonight's project is having a sip of coffee down here in the shade and just plain enjoying. But, you know, we probably should end this with some kind of a story. You know, this is kind of it's been a crazy week. So I really don't have any really great topic here for this video tonight. Actually, this is Saturday night, tomorrow morning, and it's late. It's already 6 o'clock. So that means I got to do this video, and then I've got to render it, edit it, and then get it uploaded to East Grand for tomorrow morning for you guys. So I don't normally do videos this way, last minute like this, but it has just been a crazy week. So I grabbed the camera, I grabbed a fresh cup of coffee, and I said, well, we'll take a coffee break, and then we'll go from there, I guess. But I did want to start out by thanking Scott because I really enjoyed that visit. I have met quite a few people this year from the channel, which that's all new and brand new. I haven't met a whole lot as far as in person, a half a dozen at the most. But this year I got to meet with Jeff from Pennsylvania. Let's see, Brian I've met from Massachusetts. Now we got a chance to meet with Scott. I don't know if anybody. Oh yeah, Ron from New Hampshire. And I think that's about it as far as people that I've met here on the channel. Can't think of anybody else right off the top of my head, anyways. But anyways, I was thinking we probably ought to. I did have a story. I got to kind of think back here for a minute. I'm going to think for a minute. I'm going to shut you off for a minute. I'm going to think for a minute. I remember coming up with one. All right, I've got a Maine story for you. And it really, I mean, this is about as down-to-earth Maine as you can get. I'll let that motorcycle go by. Yippee! Anyways, I had a city guy in the boat with me. And this is the honest-to-God truth. If you saw the two of us in a boat, you would think, what an odd two fishermen. His name was Brian also. But Brian had hair. It was Brian and Melody. So you guys, I'm not even in touch with these. I call them, they are kids. They're at least 25 years younger than I am. But anyways, Brian and Melody. Hello, Brian and Melody. I got two stories on that one. But anyways, Brian had hair down halfway down his back, and he was as much of a wild guy as you can imagine. But anyways, he liked to fish, and somehow we crossed paths, and he wanted. I said, "I'll take you out fishing," and we became for a while there. We were pretty good friends, me, Brian, and Melody, and the family, and you know, time passed, and everybody moves along. But anyways, there was a sunken paddle boat out in the lake. I live on a lake here, and there's a sunken paddle boat out in the lake that I want it. I did everything I could do to talk him out of wanting that sunken paddle boat. But anyways, I always give in the end. We lassoed it with a rope. I towed it back to shore to where we could get to it with the truck. I didn't take it to the boat landing because there was really no place there that I could leave it and then go, you know, and we had to drop off my boat, go back with a trailer, and get that sunken paddle boat. But there's a friend of mine on the lake. His name was Kenny Frost, and I've talked about him in the past. He's passed away now. But anyways, he had a camp right on the edge of the lake, and it was common knowledge around the town that if you needed a place to stay, you pull up on the shore and you can go in and you can use Kenny's camp. Door was wide open. It was never locked, and the 50 years that I know that he owned it, it was never locked. And so anyways, it was just there. You know, if you was ice fishing, and it was on a peninsula, and if you was ice fishing, you could go out and use his cabin. He didn't care, he didn't mind. So anyways, we pulled that boat up on the lawn right there in front of the cabin. And then I went to the boat landing. We went home, dropped off my truck. I dropped off my boat, picked up a trailer, and went back and got that paddle boat. So what's funny about getting the paddle boat? Well, what's funny about getting the paddle boat is that it was full of water, so I had to back in there, pull it out of the water with my truck, drain the water out of it, and then get it loaded up onto a trailer, and then haul it home. Well, when we did that, I tore the heck out of the lawn with my pickup. I made 2 wheel ruts that was 30 feet long from the water all the way to the driveway. So I went back the next day and I fixed the lawn, I fixed the wheel ruts, I shoveled them back in, packed them down, did all that, got everything nice. And then just went home. Went home a couple days later. I ran into Kenny Frost. I actually went down and had coffee with him. I'd stop in 2 or 3 times a week and have coffee with him in the morning, before work or after work. Yeah, we were just 40-year friends before he passed away. And I said, "Well, Kenny," I said, "when you get over to your cabin," I said, I dug up the lawn the other day and told him the story about the boat. So he got an awful big kick out of that. And then he says, "Hey, Bub." He called me Bub. He says, "Hey, Bub." He says, "I sold that cabin 2 years ago." And I said, "Well, nice of you to let us know." I said, "You know, you've always told us that cabin was open and we could use it and everything else." So here's another little funny part about that cabin. Is a couple of years later, I did a job there. The woman called and had a job to do, lay in some floors. And I was telling her that story about what I did to the lawn. And she was laughing, and she said, "You cannot believe how many people come to this cabin and walk right in like they own the place." I said, "That's because the door was unlocked for 50 years. She said all kinds of people stop in to use that cabin because of Kenny's open door policy. You might not find that a funny story, but I'll tell you what, I've been laughing over that story for 25 years every time. It's just unbelievable and that's the way Maine really was. And that was another part of the conversation that we had, me and Scott, the other day, is that we're watching some parts of Maine really die off, and traditions. The tradition of no posted land, open to hunting and open to fishing. The tradition of locking your house doors. The house I grew up in never had a padlock on it. The door was never locked, day or night. You go to bed at night, the front door wasn't locked. We'd go on vacation, the front door wasn't locked. And now I know now my parents do lock the front door, and have for many years. But them kind of traditions of not locking the front door, those things are dying away. But I think the biggest one that disturbs me the most is the posting of land. because this state has always been wide open for hunting and fishing. And you see more and more land up north that's just posted, especially since COVID. So that is a sad truth to what's going on here in the state of Maine. But anyways, that's going to wrap this one up. I had no idea where this video was headed, but I did want to sit down and do something for you guys because tomorrow morning is Sunday. So enjoy, and I will see you next week.